You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Former Green Bay Packers star Brett Favre dropped a bombshell during Capitol Hill testimony on his role in a welfare fraud scheme in Mississippi yesterday.
Sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believed was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought would help others. And I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me, because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
The doctor at the center of the scandal pleaded guilty to wire fraud in July. Favre denies any wrongdoing. A man from Wisconsin is dead after falling from Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Authorities say 21-year-old Stuart Porter of Eau Claire was rappelling down the rock formation when he fell on Saturday. A climber with Porter was stranded and had to be rescued. 7 people have died while climbing Devil's Tower over more than 100 years of recreational climbing. We used to call it Schwann's. Now the owners of Yellow, with an O, tell Wisconsin workforce officials it's getting out of the frozen food delivery business in November. The company is based in Minnesota. It's been delivering frozen food to homes since 1952. 79 people in Wisconsin will lose their jobs. The company blames problems with staffing and the food supply chain. Small farmers want the next farm bill to safeguard against weather disruptions caused by climate change. Chuck Anderis is with the Michael Fields Agricultural Institute.
These practices infiltrate more water and hold more water in the soil and make a huge difference on the amount of water coming off of farm fields.
The current farm bill expires in less than a week. Some of Wisconsin's smaller public water systems will share nearly $500,000 in grants to fight PFAS and manganese pollution. These are systems that have been ineligible for help in the past. The money will go toward new wells, new water treatment systems, or connecting to other public water systems. Wisconsin is getting $3 million for new opioid treatment and recovery services in small towns. Core Treatment Services of Manitowoc will create new access points for services or expand existing access points. The money will also go to collaborate with social workers to make sure communities are getting the services they need. It's Banned Books Week. Peter Bromberg with the group Every Library says more restrictions on reading make banned books more important.
Having access to the stories of people who have different cultures, different beliefs, different perspectives, maybe different life experiences, and that builds an understanding and an empathy. That's the necessary grease on the wheels of a democracy and a pluralistic society.
More than 100 Wisconsin school districts have had books challenged since 2020. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. Wausau residents and leaders are in an uproar over Wausau Mayor Doug Denny removing a ballot box from the front of City Hall and into his office. When he was asked why, he said it wasn't bolted down, so he moved it to a safe place. City residents gathered in front of City Hall on Tuesday night to say enough is enough. Activist Nancy Stencil says Denny was wrong to handle the box regardless of the reason.
Just making it more difficult. I mean, nobody has ran off with the payment box yet. Nobody has ran off with the mailbox yet. So nobody's probably going to run off with that darn ballot box either.
They hope to see the ballot boxes restored soon so that everyone may have their voices heard.
And we were here in May to say that our ballot boxes are safe, they are secure. We are tired of people undermining our voting rights and making it more difficult for people to vote.
Sole discretion of the placement and removal of the ballot boxes lies within the municipal clerk. Mayor Denny says he hasn't spoken to Caitlin Bernardi about the incident yet, stating he's been too busy.
There is very little voter fraud. And if something would get passed in here, say on a voting day, it's caught at the next level.
That's activist Nancy Stencil, who wants the ballot box restored so it's easy for everyone to vote.
I would like to see the conspiracy theory stopped.
Be wary of invasive species or harmful hitchhikers on your firewood this fall. Cooler temperatures are perfect for sitting around a campfire, but the DNR is asking you to help slow the spread of tree-killing pests and diseases by not transporting firewood away from where it was harvested. Buy local and burn local. Purchase firewood for your camping trip on site and leave any unused wood behind when you leave. It's not worth bringing a pest home to infest your property. Untreated firewood is one of the most popular ways that invasive species like the emerald ash borer and spongy moth spread across the state. And if you remember earlier this year, the last county uninfected by the emerald ash borer had its first infection. You can visit firewoodscout.org and find firewood near you. And the youth deer hunt happens October 5th and 6th. The DNR encourages hunting mentors to introduce the rich tradition of deer hunting to the next generation during Wisconsin's annual youth deer hunt. This includes hunters 15 years old and younger. Culver's is bringing back in the Curder Burger. It all started with an April Fool's joke in 2021. When Culver's tweeted that they'd make a burger topped with a patty of cheese curds. People went nuts for the idea. So they made it a reality. When it first debuted, a fifth of Culver's locations set single-day sales records. And last year, it was available all of October. Now we know this year, you can get it from October 1st through the 14th. And the price was just right for a Green Bay area man who was given tickets to the show in Los Angeles by his family. Kurt Schwenner in Bellevue was called to be a contestant on the Monday night Global Getaway show.
Kurt Schwenner, come on down!
A dream come true. He got on stage, played the high-low game, winning him a trip to Antarctica. Congratulations. And that's what you need to know. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
A potential playoff preview looms this week. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kuska with sports, filling in for Mike Clemens. The Milwaukee Brewers are all but locked into the third seed in next month's MLB playoffs. The NL Central champions beat Pittsburgh yesterday 7-2. Manager Pat Murphy said the Pirates got off to a good start.
Pirates hit some balls really hard today. In the first 4 innings, they had 12 hard contacts, and we had 2. But we grinded out at bats and got some hits when we needed to. Willie got some big hits.
The Brewers will play the Pirates again this evening. This weekend, Milwaukee takes on the New York Mets in what could be a playoff matchup. Green Bay has won 2 in a row with backup quarterback Malik Willis at the helm. Coach Matt LaFleur said Willis has picked up the offense quickly.
I just cannot articulate the job that he's done in the short period of time. People can't fathom it. I promise you. You guys don't get it. I know you think you got it, but you don't get it. What he's been able to do is I've never seen something like that.
Willis said he has to be prepared if his number is called.
And I've had a lot of time to just, work hard and just grind every day in order to make use of my next opportunity, which I've been just trying to do this last 2 weeks. And I think more than anything, you just try to continue to work hard and understand that you don't know when the opportunity will come, but you have to be ready for it if you get it.
Starting quarterback Jordan Love, who practiced all of last week, has missed 2 games with an MCL sprain but could return this week. Kickoff against the Minnesota Vikings is at noon on Sunday. The Milwaukee Bucks are making a, quote, major ownership announcement Thursday morning. Bucks co-owner Jimmy Haslam will be speaking. And former Packers quarterback Brett Favre said during a congressional hearing on welfare reform Tuesday that he has Parkinson's disease. Filling in for Mike Clemens, I'm Jimmy Kuska with Civic Media Sports.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Good news for moviegoers. Just when it looked like people were done leaving the house to see movies, the box office turned itself around this summer and even into the fall. On the heels of an actors and writers strike and a worldwide pandemic, people finally seem to be going back to theaters, which most cinema prognosticators did not see coming. How happy are theater owners? Deadline reports that a group of U.S. and Canadian exhibitors that control almost 70% or over 21,000 movie theater screens in North America have committed $2.2 billion to upgrade their facilities. The National Association of Theater Owners say the funds will be used to upgrade to the latest laser projection technology, sound systems, better seating, food and beverage option upgrades, and family enhancement experiences like arcades and even bowling. In addition to the bells and whistles, cosmetic upgrades in the way of carpeting, better lighting and signage, and air conditioning will also happen. Let's hope the theater experience keeps getting better and never goes away. All of Batman's tangential characters do well with spin-offs. Case in point, HBO saw some big numbers for the premiere of The Penguin. Variety is reporting 5.3 million viewers in the first 4 days since being released. That is the most amount of eyes on a Max show since the premiere of The Last of Us 18 months ago. The show stars Colin Farrell as the title character. In a million years, you'd never recognize him. The story picks up a week after the events of 2022's The Batman, where mob kingpin Carmine Falcone dies, and director Matt Reeves says the story will mesh with Batman 3, which he says is all part of his epic crime saga. Speaking of Farrell, the actor says playing the role of the Penguin takes him to some pretty dark places. How dark? The actor says some days after filming, he just sits and watches Pixar movies. To help shake the darkness after long days of shooting, Farrell says he improves his mood by watching the Toy Story films for something light and beautiful. After a tumultuous exit from Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone, Kevin Costner is hinting at a possible return. According to E! News, Costner said the story is not finished. The 69-year-old actor slammed the producers of the show earlier this year for what he called BS drama. At the time, he said he was focusing on his 4-part film Horizon, an American Saga. Since tearing into Yellowstone, his saga tanked at the box office, forcing Part 2 to only be available on streaming, with Parts 3 and 4 hanging in the balance. The second half of Season 5 of Yellowstone premieres on the Paramount Network November 10th. People cannot get enough true crime these days. The series premiere of Ryan Murphy's Netflix series Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, drew over 12 million viewers on Netflix September 19th and 22nd. Enough eyes found the show to place it ahead of the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Sorry, Jeff. TheWrap.com reports that the show also made the top 10 viewing list in 89 countries. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to feel a lot more like summer than fall here for the next several days. Today, sunshine with a light westerly breeze. Our high 74 this afternoon. Tonight, clear with a low of 48. Tomorrow, sunny 78. Friday, sunshine with a high of 78. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 48.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.